You think you've got yourself something good. You spend your time just trying to deceive me. And eat it up, you thought that I would. I live tomorrow, yesterday. I know what's on your...
Hey everybody, welcome back. Psych here. And today I'm going to be sharing half online, half in-person purchases that I picked up just yesterday actually. And yeah, just coming back here to share a little update. So probably going to do a psychedelic trip video after this. I got my lava lamp all warmed up. Still have to rip the LPs on my other turntable, but it's in the works. Probably going to go for a more generic sort of just, well, it's going to be kind of theme oriented. I got like a reoccurring theme in mind with some of my selections. So that's on the way. Probably have that out maybe at latest Monday perhaps. But yeah, let's dive in. So I'm just not going to hold these back today. I'm going to shoot some smoke at you with the smoke. It's smoke time. Picked up an OG copy. This is one that I spent a little bit on. Not too much though. Got it definitely under the average price, you could say. Yeah, I saw a good deal on Discogs because it's been on my want list lately, and just been really enjoying this one ever since last fall. So yeah, the smoke formed out of UK, but this is primarily this was distributed in Germany, but I think they had more success there with their single because they had an alternate version, which was like the second version of My Friend Jack, which originally came out in the UK, but I guess it got banned from being played on BBC because of the contents within the lyrics. But man, this is such a classic record. So yeah, just been kind of waiting to hunt this one down. I was waiting for that next biggie to pick up, you know, around the 200 range, and thankfully only paid like, you know, 50 or maybe 60 out of pocket. And I just can't believe how clean of shape this is. It's got the lamination there and no bubbling. Label's got some spindle marks, but that's kind of pretty common, I think, with these old albums, 50 plus years old. Let me get a good shot of the label here. It's on Metronome. Pretty cool label. So yeah, I don't think this ever had a UK release. It was just pressed in Germany. They had some success there. I think they had some televised performance of My Friend Jack. As I was looking up some research for the song, I had no idea Boney M covered this track back in the late 70s. It's like the most unusual act to like cover that track, you would think, you know? But yeah, I just love this whole record. So it's got kind of a reputation, good and bad, I guess. You know, some people kind of coin it as being, you know, kind of tedious or just like, you know, kind of using the same formula throughout the whole thing. But they just got their own sound, you know. They just got a very beat-oriented, you know, mod, freak beat sort of approach to it. That just works with their style. That's just how they deliver it, man. Kind of like, you know, bands of similar note, like the Status Quo or the Open Mind, you know, kind of stick to those same formulas. But this is just like listening to one of those UK Rubble or, you know, Garage Psych compilations from the UK. Or like the Nuggets 2 comp as well. Kind of a good note. But yeah, the whole thing, man, not really weak moments for me. You Can't Catch Me, High in a Room. My favorite track on here is probably the B-side to My Friend Jack, We Can Take It. Just this really up-tempo, great vocal styling performance on that track. I love the lyrics too. A couple girls hung us up while we were on the phone, you know. Love it. And it doesn't get any better than this, man, as far as freak beat oriented UK pop, man. This is excellent. Through and through. Really consistent. And yeah, it's Funny it's on the metronome label. I always think of, you know, obviously krautrock comes to mind. Yeah, man, I sold, to get this one, I sold a record on the whim. If you guys remember, I shared that record called The Deckers. I sold that one on Discogs. I had no hope for selling it for the high price I gave it. You know, I was like, let's just see if someone bites it for 150, and sure enough, man, the next day. And it turns out the seller who bought that is flipping it, which, you know, he can do what he wants, but it just, I thought, I was kind of amazed to see that happen. So with these next ones, so continuing with the online stuff, I found this one on eBay. This is kind of one I've been loosely seeking, you know, if I ever saw it for a comfortable price, around $20 or so. And this one was right at 20 bucks, and they had like a, you know, you can buy it or put a bid down for like 12 bucks, but I didn't want to wait because this is unofficial on Discogs, so you can't purchase it from there. And this is a reissue of Moolah, Woe Ye Demons Possessed. This came out in 74. I always think it's 76, but it's 74. This is like an almost exact replica of the original release. Kind of a classic Acid Archives entry. You know, it's got a lot of, you know, looking at this whole presentation, you might think maybe it's kind of like a proto-metal, you know, kind of like a Medusa sounding release or something, or what's the other band, Wizard, or amongst those kind of like mystical hard rock bands. But this is actually much more meditative than anything, in my opinion. And they consider this one their paranormal concert work, a cosmic rock relaxation creation. I think this got a pretty positive review in Acid Archives. The whole thing does work if you just kind of take it in a little, you know, take your time with it, have a little patience, and kind of grows on you after a couple listens. But yeah, very, very ambient oriented, very experimental. Only two guys as well. It's a duo based out of Manhattan Island, and I guess they formed they recorded this at Greenwich Village, but yeah, mixed at Electric Lady Studios. But some parts when you listen to this, it sounds really low quality, especially those piano cuts. Courage on side 1, Redemption side 2. But one of my more favorite tracks is Terror Is Real. It's got this really weird, like, backmasking vocals going on and voices. Kind of comes off a little eerie at first, you know, when you first listen to it. It's got some haunting elements, but all these buzzing, you know, circulating droplets of like electronics going on. But there are like a couple like percussive or like instrumental pieces on here as well. The Hard Hit, notably. The Garbage Men outside. Sorry if you hear all that banging. But yeah, the Hard Hit. It's got this very like erratic kind of drumming on it. It's not really in rhythm at all, but it works pretty well. It's probably the trippiest cut on here. Yeah, very, very krautrock inspired for sure. I mean, these guys obviously had to have listened to like Ashra Temple, Noi, early Kraftwerk, amongst those people. The Garbage Men outside are having a heyday. They're just like getting off on like throwing garbage in the truck or something. So I'm going to pause and wait and see once they calm down a little bit. Well, they must have heard me or something because they just took off as soon as I paused the video. So get a shot of the label here. Yeah, very much a private press, you know, vanity release. And this is not for the faint of heart. I will say that first and foremost, you know. This is not one you want to put on to set the mood for, you know, after you take your loved one to after date night. It's definitely not that kind of occasion. So, yeah, like I said, very meditative. Worth checking out if you're into those kind of adventurous landscapes of sound, you know. works out pretty good. I wish it was maybe a little more in-depth. I feel like the piano pieces kind of drag on a little bit, but in a lot of ways it kind of reminds me of a Silver Mountain Zion, if you guys know that band. Now this next one, this is one such case where I've always known about this record. I knew of its reputation. People were always praising about it, blah, blah, blah. I just never gave it a full listen, full in-depth listen, and if I ever did, I certainly don't remember it. I know the title track pretty well. I used it on a Mixcloud upload one time, and you know, off and on, maybe catch a snippet here or there, but just decided to give this a listen at work, and man, this is one of those rare cases where I was like, I need a copy now. Let's see how much the original's worth. Oh, gotta go the reissue route. Oh, that's worth $100 now. I'm sold on it. I'll still take one. So I did pick up one for like, it was like $60 total. And yeah, here we are. Totally worth it. Introspection, a Fane Jade recital. This is on Sundazed, and this came out in 2007. Yeah, it's just one of those cases, man, where, you know, it's like I haven't heard everything. Of course, I've heard pretty much everything there is to, you know, scramble through in the U.S. Psych territory, since it's kind of like, you know, a lot of where this music originated from. But yeah, this is one such case I just kind of slept on and kind of thought to myself, it's probably not worth the hype, you know, it's probably just some kind of like low-key exploito sort of thing. But damn, they proved me wrong. So yeah, Fane Jade, I don't know the whole backstory quite yet. I mean, I've picked up a lot that he was, you know, very much, he had some like garage origins. He was in a few garage bands in New York State, based out of Long Island, and kind of just had these inspirations to make his own project, and it's here to stay, man. I think he's had some other work after this one as well, but he's still kicking, I think, and yeah, he's just like a teenager here, probably like 18, 19. But yeah, the whole record definitely had to have an inspiration from, like, you know, early Pink Floyd. Had to be Sgt. Pepper mixed in there a little bit. And got these different like overtures and grand finale, but they're not like over the top. They're very much singular tracks, but the way they work out, every track is pretty memorable in its own right. You know, it's very much British influenced kind of garage rock, but it's also got these, like I said, very pop psych oriented moments on here. And as I was listening to this, you know, my first listen, I was like, man, every track is like kicking. Every moment I'm enjoying more and more as it rolls along, you know. You know, and then as side 2 kind of lingers out, it gets a little weak after I've listened to it a little bit. You know, Don't Hassle Me, and On the Inside There's a Middle. A little bit on the weaker side, but this is still fantastic listen all the way. And even lyrically, you know, he's got these very like heavy, you know, drug-oriented lyrics, man, on People Games Play. The second track's really good for that. Dr. Paul, I think it was the B-side to the title track off here on the single. And my favorite moments on here, A Brand New Groove, as well as Ballad of the Bad Guys. It's like the most garage-oriented track. And this guy is backed up by no one other than Bohemian Vendetta backing this guy. So it doesn't sound a whole lot like them. You can hear him a little bit in those parts, you know, some of the more garagey moments, but yeah, definitely a very individualized concept record of some sorts. It's kind of a replica of the original label it was on. It was on like a really small label out of New York. I recognized one other record on that label, Dee Dee. There's a chick on the cover. I think that's her name, Dee Dee, which I've listened to before. Totally mind blown. Let's move along. Introspection, man, it's really great. So yeah, I just decided to hit up one of the record shops. This is one of those shops where, I don't visit a whole lot, but um, I tend to find a few things every once in a while, and yesterday was the right time because, there's been a few things I've been listening to online, and a couple things I'm in this pile I'm going to flip as well, but I'll get to those. This is one where I did see it at, my primary stop, but this one was a lot cheaper. And snatch this up. This is Neil Merriweather, John Richardson, and Boers. Canadian-oriented group. I think they recorded this in California though. It's on the Kent label, which brought us Bob Smith amongst a lot of blues-oriented records. And this is the sort of thing I probably wouldn't normally pick up, but picked it up for $12, which is a decent price for this. So yeah, very blues oriented, kind of in the same vein as 10 years after what they were doing around this time, 1970. A little bit of early Steve Miller Band as well. So it's got that kind of rocking organ sound, hard rock oriented, which is the key point on this one. I do like the hard rock elements, not so much the blues. There is some great guitar work on here. This is probably one of those covers that suffers from heavy ringwear, I imagine. But yeah, I got some cats from different bands like 49th Parallel, Nucleus, and Ugly Ducklings. I think the drummer from that band is in here as well, so, and the organ player. So yeah, 1970. He's got some good moments on here. Not necessarily psych oriented at all, but you can hear that, the era floating in the mix for sure. Got that heavy guitar work, some kind of studio work going on, mixing wise. And my favorite track's probably the last one on here. Local 149, Are You Ready? Which I don't believe is the Grand Funk song, but they do sound like Grand Funk near the end of that track. Yeah, Grand Funk Railroad's definitely a good comparison to this too. It's very much in that kind of dad rock sort of style, but I do like this. And I also like his other one on Capitol Records, the one that just is called Merriweather. The second track on there, it's kind of trippy. I forget the name of it, but yeah, if I ever see that for cheap, I might pick it up. Get a shot of the label here. Yeah, and I got this from Lefty's Records. Yeah, one of those places I don't stop to very often. Oftentimes just don't find what I want in that shop, but I do pop in, and some of the stuff I've contemplated about are still there, so if I ever think about it down the road, often there's a good chance it'll still be there. And then I picked this up. So since they've had new owners, they kind of move things around a little bit, and she was showing me this $4 bin box, stuff that wasn't really fitting in the racks, and just kind of had them off to the side. Found these records, not necessarily stuff I'm going to keep, but cool finds. Donald Byrd, Street Lady. This is on Blue Note, and cover's kind of rough, but the record is in good shape. And I listened to this in the car yesterday, and definitely some upbeat, kind of funky stuff, so see if anybody wants it, and if I can't trade it, maybe I'll pass it along to someone. Cool find. And then there was 2 copies of Harvest by Neil Young. I used to have this record. Sold it. I do like this record. It's just not one that's geared towards my taste, man. I'm kind of more of a guy that's I want less quantity, more quality for my personal taste, so it's just kind of very particular. Although I do want to keep that Neil Young record I shared a month or 2 ago. Everybody knows it's Nowhere. I do want to keep that one. That's my favorite Neil Young. But this one, what can you say? He's one of the greats. Pretty decent shape. The vinyl's in better shape. Comes with the lyric sheet. Pass this one along. And those two were for $4 each. So, okay, about wraps it up. And I'm not going to make a huge, breaking news story, but I'm just going to say after this, I'm going to take quite a lengthy break on the YouTube side of things. I think I've brought a lot of content here on YouTube, as far as my updates and my video mixes. And if you guys want to check all those out, you can just revisit my channel for a while. Just need a whole, mental break from social media. It's just a personal choice, so it's just, so respect that. And I'm going to do it on all platforms, so in case anybody wonders where I'm at. Of course, I'll still be watching videos and such, so I'll still be interacting. But till next time, I'm going to push a video mix out there for you guys, and chime in once in a while. So till then, take care, and we'll see you soon.